Hey everyone, this is a short introduction of my new UI. First off, I want to give a shout out to Birg for creating this orb. I've been using this orb since I saw it the first time, because I think it's really neat to have in the UI. So I done separate class icons for all the classes. So here's the Paladin one. This is Druid. And I prefer to have a class themed UI. So you can see that these lines are the monk colored. So if you change the class, these ones will change as well. And this line down here also changes depending on what class you play. So I have one slim health bar here and one slim here, but as soon as you enter combat you get a bigger bar, and I prefer to have this center layout because it helps me to keep track of my own health, my buffs and debuffs. I also made two layouts. One's called the balanced one. This is the center one. If you have the balanced one, you get your own health bar bumped up to here, and the target health bar on the opposite side. I'm going to do a guide after this video when I go through how to change the UI, move the frames. Also done a dark theme where you can change the health bars to black if you don't want the class colored ones. I've tried to do most class resources, like She here for example, and they're not perfect. If you play the Ascension talent where you get one additional She, it doesn't add up because I have only done 5. So if you want 6 She, you have to do it yourself or add another weak aura. These weak auras are anchored to the shadow unit frames. So if you go into the shadow unit frames, you can see I've changed the background color to opacity 0. If I drag this up to 100, you get to see where the unit frames are placed. And the weak auras are anchored to the shadow unit frames. The same goes for Raven, that tracks buffs and debuffs. So if I would actually move the target unit frame and shadow unit frames, weak auras will follow, and the Raven. More on that in the guide. So we change back this opacity to 0. There we go. I've only done this action bar because most will actually add their own weak aura icons tracking buffs. And I've left a little gap here. So if you add the spark unit frames and the raid frames, they're placed like that. There's a little gap down here above the raid frames. This is where I'm going to place my weak auras. Fist of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, etc. I have one action bar that's not showing at the moment. This one, bar number 1. I just placed it there if you're leveling, want an action bar to move around. Try to fit it with the raid frames. Let's remove these raid frames, part frames. As I said, Birg made this orb from the beginning, at least the first time I saw it, and I've tried to add animations to the orb because I think it's really nice to look at. I've only done for the Windwalker myself, but I left the animations in the UI. Here you can find them, ShibbUI Windwalker animations. You can use these and copy them to try to make them for your own classes. I'll try to implement it in the guide video that I'm going to be doing later. Let's see if there's something else I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I don't think so. The UI is based on my resolution, so most people have bigger screens or it won't really line up. But if you look at the guide later, you can try to move around yourself to get it to fit. So that's about it. I'm going to releasing a guide how to change anything later. Yeah.